Yeah, your sensitive feelings.
That's 3 for 3 here in terms of that malady.
What's that? Sensitive feelings?
Yeah, we're all a bunch of sensitive artists.
We're all sensitive
Perpetrating
people.
that we are the
with
hardest.
so much to give.
I asked
Understand
Atlas
and
what's
sugar.
going on. Looks like you're mid Google Meet with Brian and Justin. Probably your weird thing set up. You're connected with camera and mic on. It seems you're about to start or in the podcast recording. You're visible in the call window on the right with your video feed up, and Brian and Justin are in their studios, cam set up, mics in hand, the Night Attack sign glowing in the back.
Bubbles
normal.
popping. Bubbles popping. We've hit the wall. We've hit the wall.
Hey, Green, how did you get in here?
So everything looks normal. You're live in Meet, ready to roll. Want me to help you sketch a quick cold open or lead in about an Atlas before you hit the record? But yeah, Night Attack is up in the corner.
Yep.
I told you the time I did a thing outside. I had a photo that I took outside of the White House lawn. And before it was just destroyed tragically.
My favorite tweet today was Aaron Sorkin should have called his show The East Wing, and none of this would have ever happened.
I took a photo and I'm like describing this photo. It's like, you're in front of the White House and there's a flag and there's a crane in the background and a guy fixing a camera. I'm like, what? This is hallucinating. I'm like, oh shoot, there's a guy in the background assembling a camera for a stand-up and there's a crane. I'm like, oh, AI wins, Andrew loses.
That's amazing. All right, you ready to record? Shouts out to Dylan Theus. First in the chat as always, Unbroken Record.
Dylan.
All right, ready? In 3, 2. Oh wait, you know what? That's the start. That's how it. Hold on here. Let me stop it and start it again. I got tricked because I had already gone live once today. Okay, ready? In 3, 2.
Hello and welcome to the Weird Things podcast, brought to you by Handfuls. I'm Andy Mayne, joined by Justin Robert Young.
Yes, yours in handful joy.
Brian Finger Licking Palm Good.
Controversy runs abound. The FDA or OSHA has questions for handfuls. What temperature should that gravy be?
Where do we even start with handfuls?
Well, I think we alluded to it last week. We were talking about...
I was not here last week.
Oh, then I guess... Wait. What was last week? I guess we haven't talked about it. Have we? You know what? Dylan Theus would know whether or not we've talked about...
I think we talked about it last week, Brian, because I think you made some art as some AI art for Handfuls.
Oh, that's true.
All I'll say is this: if you are not on the Sora app, I'm sorry. If you are on the Sora, if you're not on the Sora app, then you're just seeing Sora videos on every other platform. But if you are on the Sora app, one of the true joys is that there is just a never-ending runner of videos about a fictional restaurant that Andrew made a commercial for called Handfuls, which is in my mind, kind of a Golden Corral-esque sort of family dining establishment.
Yeah.
But their gimmick is that they pour gravy right in your hands. And
Which I believe that was the original prompt from Andrew, right? Was just they pour it in your hands, and the name Handfuls came up from Sora.
just from that. Yeah. And
Sora
then from there, a million different versions of Handfuls, Handfuls delivery, Handfuls to go,
Handfuls buffet now.
Buffet. where you're
Congressional
just
hearings
having-
about handfuls.
I did a Hulu documentary, like of the rise and fall of Handfuls.
Hidden camera, explosive video comes out.
But yeah, for every time another one hits the feed, I'm just delighted by it. But
It's funny to see kind of the lanes, because it is fun and easier to kind of plus somebody else's hot take or whatever. Like at some point, there was Brian and Justin are dancing, and it became every variation, which there are a lot
it's
of
still
dances
going.
left
It's
to go.
still going today.
Well,
Yes.
I may be a contributor to that one.
No, yeah.
There was one, I put us at the Super Bowl, and it for some reason made us a little bit puffy. puffy jackets that ended up puffy face. So I just wrote fatter, so much fatter.
I did the Juggalo version. of
Juggalo was
dancing,
great.
Juggalo crumping. How does Handful's delivery work? No, they come to your house and they pour it right in your hand, right there at the door.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how Handful's delivery works.
Did somebody had Handful's crystal gravy?
Yeah, crystal gravy and then golden gravy for K-pop Demon Hunter. Yeah, and then they're. Oh no, the ones I saw 2 days ago was that Handfuls had now introduced bowls, and there was a revolt of the fan base that there was a Cracker Barrel style not my
that's great.
Handfuls. And a CEO who was trying to like backpedal on it. Like there's something to, and you know, obviously, look, there's a lot to be said about AI art and AI slop or whatever, but like there's just something to the idea of being able to turn and twist an idea so fast.
Yeah. High fidelity. It's a high fidelity pitch meeting or shared dream as we've.
So it's like the
called
thing that I saw today, this morning, was historical figures doing the beginning of the SNL monologue, like as if it like a 2015 era Saturday Night Live. And so it was like the first one I saw was like Genghis Khan. And it's like, hey, everybody, I'm Genghis Khan. You might know me from conquering most of Asia or my lesser known feat, awkward family reunions. And like everybody laughs. And then so it's like Hammurabi and all these other Napoleon, all these other historical figures that eventually go. But it's like, I don't know. There's just something to that idea of like, okay, now do blank.
Right.
Where it doesn't feel like a copy where in another world,
it feels
if
like
somebody were
plussing up somebody else's take.
Yeah. And sometimes it's plussing up. Sometimes it's negativing up.
Yeah.
But still, it's like it goes so fast, it doesn't feel offensive. It doesn't feel like you're taking anything away from the initial thing to do another thing. It feels more like a comment thread.
Right.
Where it adds one to the other.
Well, and there is something so inherently low stakes to it that it's hard to take massive offense, because baked into the modality of the messaging is that this is a fleeting notion, not a product.
Yeah. It actually reminds me, follow me on this one, like the best version of a Reddit thread.
Yes.
Where it's like
where you're not
end of
tripped
it,
up on the actual language that's being used.
well, or it's clever, right? So it's like somebody says a thing and then somebody says something clever to that, and then somebody says something clever to that, and then like these grouping of words sound like a song, so somebody will complete the lyric to the song.
Yes.
And the next thing you know, everybody's singing the song.
Or there's an animated GIF, meme stealing, is recursive. It becomes
There's
about
just something
the
that's
stealing
like
of memes.
it's like an avalanche. It's not a contest, and that's probably one of the biggest thing, like artistically, that makes me interested in something like Sora beyond it just being a way to demonstrate that there's a cool video gen model.
Yeah.
Like, because I'm interested in that, but I was like interested in VO3 for as long as I could show off to my friends that I had paid for VO3. And then past that, I was like, okay, if I had an idea for something, I was like, oh, I have an idea for interstitials. Boom, I made a bunch of interstitials in VO3. But it wasn't like I wanted to come back there every day and see what people were doing in a way that I am with this. And part of it is just the remix feature and the cameo feature. Like that was the game changer.
The cameo feature, just action figure play, is incredible. Like, just you get a notification that somebody is playing with your action figure. You're like, well, I'd love to see what scene they got me in.
Yeah, it's been just watching this thing evolve very, very quickly, seeing what we talked about before, some of the absolutely like shrill reactions to it from people who are just, feel like anything that isn't the thing they're doing is an affront, whatever, and also not seeing that because I think some people, like I heard, oh, it's a tick slop feed. And they just see this feed of stuff, and it's like, well, I remember going through self-publishing and people reacting to that. I remember people reacting to podcasting the same way, and I remember that because then it was, well, it's not the professionals making, it's the amateur, the cult
The
of
cult
the amateur.
of the amateur. You
Okay.
got there before I did.
Unpack that one for me.
There was a book called The Cult of the Amateur that came out. God, this has to be late aughts, early tens. But this is very much a reaction to
Andrew Keene, was that it?
the blog and podcaster. But this guy's voice was exactly what you would imagine writing The Cult of the Amateur. And so it was, from their perspective, if I remember the argument correctly, it was like, hey, look, there exist institutions that make good writers great writers. There exist institutions that make good reporters, people who are interested in gossip, into really good reporters, and then writers that can write on deadline, that can do stuff like this, or great radio hosts that can create engaging content. If you just create 1,000 monkeys chattering and typing, yes, you'll eventually get a few things that might not have permeated, but largely this is a garbage culture, but that all we're doing is feeding ourselves on slop, was his argument.
This is when?
Like late aughts, early tens. I don't know, Andrew, if you could find the date on it.
Early.
Yeah.
Well, and also accurately predicted TikTok's business model. We've talked about this before, where TikTok has figured out arbitrage of the 1,000 monkeys, 1,000 typewriters. They just say the word.
Yeah, but that was publishing industry, though. Like, publishing industry did that 100 years before, where the number of people who create works that would just don't get selected or make it their way, like the amount of people putting all this free effort into that.
Right, but well, specifically on the TikTok thing, what they did is they accept a paycheck from Birkenstock. They say the word Birkenstocks. All the teenagers make 6 to 8 videos about Birkenstocks, oftentimes leveraging a bunch of assets that would be very expensive to coordinate doing, a puppy, a little sister, access to an underage sibling's bedroom, all these things that make for that authenticity. And then everything gets A, B, C, D, E, F, G tested until one is deemed the winner, and that one gets algorithmically boosted. And everybody's failures subsidize that one success. The one person gets paid $800 whole and gets 6 million views, and good one, TikTok. And so instead, we're just cutting out the teenagers.
Yeah, I'm saying that model in its form, like 3 million books get self-published or written a year, and publishers select 10,000 to put into the industry, and then it's like you get, like, for every dollar I make as an author, if it's like you have all that free labor of people trying to create the stuff that'll never get paid by the industry, because guess what? You weren't selected, but we love the fact that we don't have to finance all of these creation. People will just keep doing it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Keep seeing this evolution.
Do we know when that book came out? Cult of the Amateur? Maybe I should read
2007.
it. 2007. Yeah, late odds.
After YouTube.
So funny. Yeah, it's like, but like just at the beginning of so much. I mean, he's really bitching about blogging.
Yeah,
like that's really what.
So
because it was barely into the world of podcasting at that point.
It's just the unwashed masses sentiment.
It was it was a sneering at the idea that like people got to skip the line and get attention.
I love it. Well, and there are people who worship at the altar of gatekeeping, just in general. The zero sum ladder climbers. In Magic, I could think of a few names where, no, I sucked up the right amount to this person, and therefore I'm owed this next opportunity, and it's a zero-sum game up and down. And there was a bit of that. There was a resentful strain of the, shall we say, populist attitude of scam school back in the day. That's fascinating that I don't know. It seems like another face of the same thing.
Oh yeah, I mean, and also the guy's voice is just really stuck apparently with Andrew and I because we constantly think of the cult of the amateur.
The amateur. Sure, he's a
So,
cool guy. But
guys, I'm super busy coming up on the holiday season, and I cannot believe I've gone all week, and I have not even had 10 minutes to rub together to download the Atlas browser. The biggest news.
How would you do it?
I don't know. I would ask a robot to tell me how to do it.
Well, it would tell you to
Get
buy
a
a
Mac.
Mac.
Oh, fart in the face of this cult of the amateur is right.
Mm-hmm.
That's this BS. Boo.
Yeah.
Boo.
it'll be coming to Windows.
I didn't
I'm
know it was
sure,
a
yeah.
fraud.
I'm sure it'll be on trash things soon.
Oh, okay,
I'm
so-
sure you
all right, yeah.
people will get it.
I don't like it when
Yeah.
it's not me.
I think it's gonna go from Mac, Linux, TRS-80,
Yeah.
Commodore 64.
I'll be fine on Linux. I'll switch over there.
It might get
Well,
banned on
I meant
Android.
like Raspberry Pi, like literally. Then
Well,
finally it'll
so
get to.
wow, I didn't know it was Mac only.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
interesting.
Uh,
Well, for now, I mean, again, you
that's
gotta,
where it was launched.
Sure.
It very quickly replaced Safari and Chrome as my daily driver. It's also replaced any opening of the ChatGPT website, or really even me opening the app.
Okay, the ChatGPT website, there's still curious artifacts like I can't believe that there's no Control F on the PC app of ChatGPT. I have to leave that and go to a browser to find where in this wall of text is that one phrase I was trying to access. But sorry, this PC thing. I'm just alone over here.
Yeah.
You know, yeah,
Yeah.
I feel bad for the Android using PC user right now watching Sora and Atlas.
Yeah.
So I think it really is exceptional, at least for the use cases that I use. A lot of my like practical use of ChatGPT is in summarization because I have so many times throughout my week that for either PX3 or We're Not Wrong, I just need to summarize a story into 200 words or 150 words. And, you know, there was in different versions, times where I've had to copy paste. One of the things in Atlas is you can just highlight a thing, and then in that highlighting, you can just have a ChatGPT action like right there.
Yeah. So you highlight it, and what do you right click on it and say do a thing?
There's like a
or-
little, yeah. There's like a little
bubble
doot.
pops up?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
you can click on the doot and then tell it what you want it to do. So I can just say
Like,
summarize that,
this thing. What is this?
or even easier because it knows what website you're on, unless you're on a website that's currently suing OpenAI, like the New York Times. You can just say, "Hey, can you summarize this article into 200 words for me?"
yeah.
And it'll just do it because it's context
Yeah,
aware.
There's a lot of it's a healthy market right now. There's Dia, there's Comet, there's other browsers out there. Microsoft just announced the day after Atlas that they've added, Copilot to Edge. And it's going to be interesting to see where this goes. And I think that, I like the ChatGPT one because it has all my ChatGPT memories and all that. And I like one ecosystem. I go in there and, obviously, I like the company. But it's I think that, now I think a year from now, a browser without some sort of chat bar on the side is going to seem weird.
Well, I'll tell you what. There was a breakthrough moment that I got to experience in YouTube land. There's an experimental feature. It's kind of like a Sasquatch god that shows up sometimes. It's you see that little Gemini diamond in the back end in Studio, and then you could just talk to the YouTube algorithm. It's extraordinary. You could just say, for example, a number that used to require an advanced mode analytics thing, and then you had to like go 3 levels deep in order to intuit a thing. Like a curious bit of trivia. How many people have clicked unsubscribe on this channel in the history of the channel? I was able to just put that in plain
Just
English,
ask it,
and
yeah.
it said 538,422.
But not enough. And you're like, damn it.
It's like, hey, I'm not paying you to be smart here, Gemini.
Yeah.
But no, it just told you the number.
Yeah, yeah. And then I asked the second question. Like, I suspect, or I didn't even tell it, my suspicion that the shorts audience was not 100%, not the same audience as the long form audience. And it's like, yeah, 90% of your shorts people don't watch your long forms. And then now, the next part is start discussing like what are the connective threads that are strongest, and then you actually have somebody who, again, I'm not going to trust it too much for insights. I suspect that I'm going to ultimately be the source of insights that reflect where the channel should go. But in terms of mechanics of getting a clear picture of what seems to be working, it's incredibly good at helping to parse all that.
It's interesting too, because like I was talking to this with somebody yesterday that Google has amazing talent, like DeepMind. They've got some incredible engineers. That it's just but it is so distributed unevenly, and you don't know when you're going to get a great experience in a product. Or like I went into Google Slides. I'm like, hey, create a 10-slide deck for me, Gemini. It's like, I can only do one slide at a time, bro.
Yeah.
And I'm like, cool. That's just one more than zero.
Yeah.
And then ChatGPT, Atlas, can you do it? Like, yeah, sure. Created the deck. I needed to tweak it, but at least it did it.
Google should be so much farther along when it comes to products. And that's ultimately, I think, where the current meta is, although we can get to meta in a second with their firings, but like the current age that we are at, which is very, very fast developing, is like models are going to matter, but I think that they're really only going to matter as much as you can put them in products. And that's what OpenAI has been really good at lately, is like they're developing their products and they're releasing products that really matter. Nobody really thought that a video gen system could take over social media in a way that Sora continues to be the #1 app in the App Store.
Well, it's not number one now. It got knocked down.
Oh, did it get knocked down today?
Yeah.
Where'd it get knocked down to?
Look. Well, it's number 3. Number 2 is ChatGPT. And number 1, I'll let you decide to discover this.
Okay, hold on.
Wait, did they secretly announce an iOS browser of Atlas when I wasn't looking?
No, although when they did a demo last night to show how to do
Oh my
browsing,
God,
and
that's
it
so
was very
funny.
prominent. They had Swift code, iOS code
What is
tabs
it?
in the background.
Dave's Hot Chicken.
I don't wait. What is
Dave's
happening?
Hot Chicken.
Dave's Hot Chicken is the #1 app.
What did
Number
I
one
miss?
app in the world now.
What did they do?
They give you Dave's Hot Chicken, dog. I mean, like, there's
Delicious
no other way to
chicken,
put it.
Wait, today I learned about
you
Dave's
had
Hot
Dave's Hot
Chicken.
Chicken?
Dave's
This
Hot
is
Chicken was
amazing.
created by
Stupid
best
questions,
friends
Brian.
Dave Kapushman
What?
and Armand Argushman and Tommy and Gary Rubijon. Dave, a chef trained at French Laundry, set out to create the perfect hot chicken by searching, tasting, and frying.
That's amazing.
They have
You've all had Dave's Hot Chicken, right?
No, I've not. I've never heard of Dave's
It's
Hot
amazing.
Chicken.
It's incredible.
well, I mean, I'm going to get the app.
I will. I think Opus either. I got an email saying Opus had an iOS app, but then when I went there were already 600 reviews. I was like, did they just release this or what?
Yeah, I got it today. I
I
downloaded
downloaded it today as well. Yeah.
Downloaded what?
There is, and I don't know if this is more of an after things topic, but well, hold on. let me finish my before we got
sure.
waylaid by Dave's Hot Chicken. The models will always matter, but we're entering into an age of not just putting a model in front of people's hands and saying anything is possible, but rather saying, look at this thing that can do this thing.
And that is one of those. This is where branding brain Brian is screaming for, like, give specific products. And OpenAI was the first. You remember, we were all there as everybody at OpenAI. I think while Andrew was working there, was amazed that releasing essentially the exact same thing with a simple one-click button labeled ChatGPT had a profoundly different impact than the exact same engine behind, 2 extra
playground
steps.
of
Exactly,
other
where
thing,
anything was possible. But because anything was possible, folks like me well, again, I think of it as the blue sky or the gray goo problem was like too many possibilities,
Yeah.
and then nothing got done. But by saying talk, that's it. And it's like, well, this is neat. I understand it. And Sora, same thing. It's like dream, share with friends. That's it.
Yeah, you have a sense of it, and that's where I think Google is kind of behind the eight ball right now. They've got good models. They've got really, really good models. What they, and this is a larger organizational challenge for them, they got to figure out how, in a very changing age, how to get very ossified power structures that are there to protect. No, protect the thing that works. Always protect the thing that works. And say, hey, we got to evolve this. Gmail's got to be, right now, I get a lot of use out of my Gmail and my calendar, but it ain't through Google. It's because I can connect it to my ChatGPT. I would love my Gmail to be connected to a Gemini system so it could sort things and
Well, and as a matter of fact, I must have set fire to 90 minutes today working on the idea being, hey, how many people have I contacted over the last 15 years on Gmail? Can I get all of their names and also sort them according to how long ago was the last time I talked to them? And then, eventually I'd love a robot to like check up on everyone.
Yeah.
Who's doing what these days? But instead, again, I'm going to blame user error on this one, but ChatGPT comes back with, you have emailed 15 people in the last 15 years. And I'm like, I don't think that's right.
Yeah.
And it's like, you're right. You've emailed many more. Let me work on that. 16 people.
Yeah.
So there's some kind of disconnect that's not there. I would love to have all that.
Yeah, I think that there are two things that are happening right now that didn't happen a year and a half ago. One is AI code writing tools have gotten really good and also really good at checking code and at human level. And every single code commit made at OpenAI has an AI system that goes over, checks it, and they're using a lot of this. And we're seeing OpenAI build things like the Agents SDK and whatnot. There's an article that came out that talked about the number of Meta employees now working at OpenAI. And like OpenAI has just been hiring like all the really cracked software developers they can and accelerating. So you're seeing software development is now speeding up tremendously, right? You're also now seeing, and it's not just an OpenAI story, like Cursor, which is like my favorite tool for writing code outside of Codex CLI, is that company, what they do is like they have a small model. They use the big models. You can plug in Codex, you can plug in Claude, you can plug in Gemini, whatever, Grok, anything you want. They also have their own little model that's their base model to use for their own like code completions, the sort of fast and cheap. They train a new one of those like every 90 minutes. And so they're taking all the user data and telemetry data, whatever, and continuously training new models. And you're getting to get to a point where you might have models just customly trained for you. So what this means is you're using, and OpenAI is doing the same thing. Like you're going to see updates to these systems. They're going to get really good, really fast because they have all the signal. And now it's not a matter of, oh, I need 300 developers to work. Like, no, I just need to describe the problem, describe what a solution looks like in a test to make sure that it's solved for the test, and tell the AI to build it.
So we've talked about this before. As I stumbled across it, and I wish I could find the original thread. The when to leave problem. Let's say your goal was to get to Alpha Centauri. Do you leave today in a SpaceX rocket, and however fast you go is how you go, or do you wait 100 years until you've developed, a lot better rockets, or do you wait 1,000 years until that warp technology is just around the corner? I feel that same kind of dynamic right now when it comes to investing my time in AI stuff. So I've tried to judiciously budget only maybe an hour for experimenting each day. But I know that Andrew, obviously with interdimensional, and you're so plugged in, I would imagine all day, every day, be finding out the latest thing. What is your advice for other folks when it comes to figuring out how much time to dedicate to learning the meta right now today versus taking a piece of it that definitely will work and developing that part? Like, what's not going to change over the next 6 months?
Well, everything's going to change. I think the thing is, we're not going to reach the point and go, the tools are done. The tools are going to continue to evolve. What you have to figure out is, one, how you need to spend some. Everybody should spend some time playing with stuff. And for you, it might be like, hey, I'm going to spend an hour a week, whatever this the hot new tool of the week. I'm going to spend an hour playing with it. And also, I'd say get on a phone call with a friend or somebody else who's playing with it, because you can multiply your learning surface area by talking to other people. For the last 5 years, I've met every Thursday with a group of developers who've been working with the OpenAI API, who weren't OpenAI employees, but people using it and other tools and getting high signal from them. And it's people like, how do you stay in touch? I'm like, I've got like a network of people that tell me all the cool stuff. And everybody can do that.
I'm glad to hear that, because my gut intuition has been that, and part of it was from an entertainment perspective. It's difficult to know what's real and what's not real, and nobody wants to be alone in a holodeck by themselves thinking they're at the world's greatest party. But that also kind of affirms my intuition that the best institutional knowledge is locked up in other humans, and that has us back in a place that I'm very bullish on, is talk to other people. All those dormant skills, all those things that got ossified before the pandemic, awaken them, talk to people, go to places.
I have an essay coming out. I just got some notes from Matt Ridley.
As one does. Sir Matt Ridley?
Sir Matt Ridley. I sent it to him because nobody knows more about economics and displacement innovation than him. And so, and it's what you said, Brian. It's exactly it. Like I did a talk yesterday in Santa Cruz for some founders, and I'm like, even though people look, I have these tools, I can just do it myself. You could, but that'd be dumb, because anybody could do it by themselves. But if you and a couple other people who are really good network people are really good connections, because a lot of what you need now too is you're going to need customers, and you're going to need your customers to trust you and tell you what the real issue is, to say, yes, I will hop on a Google Meet and spend 2 hours telling you, like we have an intervention, like we'll tell you what's really going on inside our financial institution, or we'll tell you what's going on inside of our consulting firm. Like last week, we've talked to 2 super big names in both those fields, telling us things that you're not going to know publicly available, reading articles and stuff, because they're dealing with inside stuff of things they have to deal with. And that comes from trust. And so I think that the highly networked person, the social person, and again, if you're an introvert, you can become social. Take it from me. You can learn to be social by just finding things that you have interest with other people. You know, the most introverted person can still manage to game night with 5 other introverts, which means you could also figure out how to meet other people and be social. So that's who's going to win. The social tool user. That's who's always win. Who won over Neanderthals and Homo sapiens?
By the way, right now in the chat, I suspect are a number of introverts who have shown up in the form of watching live, and have shown up in the form of chatting in the chat. Somebody out there right now might be on the cusp of thinking, I'm not really a chat room kind of person. Say hello. How about that? Get started now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, you can.
Sorry, go ahead, Andrew.
No, please.
I think the biggest thing that you have to look at, and I'm even seeing some of it in the chat here, is like, look, man, these are tools, and I will say I have seen enough utility in my life with these tools that I get a lot of value out of it. Does that mean that the tool is always right or perfect, or that you are using the right tool in the right way? A new tool will always have an element of trial and error, and at times even skill issues where you don't really understand where they can leverage to your own life. I will say that on the high end, there are a lot of people that are coding at an extraordinary level with the use of these tools. That are, the people that are moving the fastest in this industry right now are doing so because of the efficiencies that they see with these tools. There's a lot of content creation that happens without us even realizing it because of AI help, and it's only going to continue to move forward. So what I would just encourage everybody to do, and I think it starts as, unless you have another field like coding or something like that where you have a whole lot of AI tools that are at your disposal, then ChatGPT, Gemini, any of these things, just literally spend time in those fields and think about what your daily problems are and how you can use this technology to make your life better.
Yeah, there is an interesting there's an interesting moment that we're having where everybody is team extrovert oftentimes wants to become team human and decide that AI bad. And the part that slays me is they're not hurting AI's feelings. And they're not hurting Team AI's feelings. They're only slowing their opportunity to develop themselves faster, because we're obviously going to end up in some kind of hybrid existence, right? It's going to become a word processor. It's going to become
Well, before we even get to the far future, and Jim in the chat says, if AI tools were so good, then AI companies would be using them to develop for themselves.
they do.
Trust me, trust me, they do.
The highest market cap startup on the planet is OpenAI, 500 billion, 800 million users, and they are tiny.
Jim, and I get your skepticism, and I don't disagree with it in terms of nobody wants to be left holding the bag on something that they think might be a little overinflated. And I can totally understand with the amount of conversation that goes around LLMs and AI that you can smell something that from a certain distance, if you squint at it, looks like NFTs and the metaverse and a lot of other next big things that have come along. But if you could have an open mind, Jim, I would very much encourage you to go watch the OpenAI podcast interview with Andrew, Greg Brockman, and Thibaut, who's he's the head of software there. Andrew, if I remember his title correctly.
I think
Thibaut
Codex.
Socio.
Yeah.
But they talk a lot about just what they have used and how much they have people come in from other companies, from other AI companies, and the general reaction they get is like, oh, you guys really do use AI here, and part of the benefit of that is that they have developed tools very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
They are moving at a development speed that not a lot of people are moving at. And part of OpenAI's advantage over Google per se, despite the fact that Google has a lot more of a built-in advantage because we park so much data with them, we park so much personal data with them. Nobody but Google and Apple have that kind of advantage. They have not been able to capitalize on it, number one, because their system is very ossified, but two, because they are not developing as fast. And Apple's a similar position right now. Like they have not been able to leverage the fact that I have Mac OS on my laptop, that I have iOS on my phone. Boy, would it be great if there was a
at an
small model
OS
that would
level,
that would do stuff.
Good save.
Yeah, there's OpenAI just acquired a company, by the way, that was built a natural language interface for Mac OS.
Wow. I bet it had a specific use case and a specific need and nobody cared how it got. I mean, it's novel how it got made, but my guess is it wasn't ideologically pure or impure that was a concern. By which I mean, like, people get hung up on, well, you didn't really. It's, you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of, you read, I read the book. Well, Audible. Well, did you read it then? That is what it's starting to sound like. Did you really program it then? If all you did was use words?
Did you read it aloud? Did you read it aloud as reading is supposed to be?
Right.
So yeah, and I would say that part of the problem is that like there are bubbles for, and obviously I'm in an AI bubble of like excitement for it, but also I work with people using the tools on a regular basis, and it's not like, oh, it's gonna be cool. It's like, no, it is cool right now. I can tell you what got done yesterday and got done there. And there are still people who like market and sell copium and this stuff, who write articles like, well, it failed here, but they won't tell you that it improved how much over the last 6 months or last 2 years or whatever. And I know people who do not think these things have gotten better in the last 4 years and have no idea. And they'll hear like, AI code, you mean AI slop? It's like, okay, like again, by bias is OpenAI, which is literally the fastest growing startup, like the fastest user base, whatever, 800 million ChatGPT users, and they have to support this. And they are fully AI code tool generation tool.
Yeah.
They use it. The tools Codex CLI were not products they created for their outside world. They're products they're using internally that then became external stuff. And I think some people just really want to think that like, and Captain Kirk will ask it to divide by 0 and it's going to burst into flames. We'll find out why we can still do this, or it can't do this chess move. And I'm like, assume it can do all of that. That takes nothing away from our humanity, because it turned out a second grader was better at chess than me for most of my life, if they spent time playing chess,
Yeah.
that I've never been great at these things that AI is already accelerating at. But the things that we're really good at, having relevance, being social, understanding the values of other people, that's going to be even more valuable.
Yeah. The application of the tech to the world is what matters. That's going to be the actual story that's told. There's a tech story of how the tools are created. And obviously we are tech people. Andrew worked at OpenAI. Like there's a room for that, but that's not the cultural story. The cultural story is going to be what we do with them. Much in the same way that the internet wasn't a story about telecommunications. The internet wasn't a story about online storage or networking or any of the things that that go along with putting all these computers together. The story of the internet was the information that spread and how it changed and affected our lives and culture.
Yeah. Things are moving fast, very, very fast. But as far as playing with the tools, I just encourage people try it. And you find, somebody, if you hear a name come up for something a couple times, like, I don't know how long Gamma is going to last as a slide generation tool, but I do think it's a pretty cool, fast way to create slides right now.
Yeah. Today's the day I heard about Gamma.
Yeah. The problem with Gamma right now is everything looks like a Gamma slide. So people send me slides. I'm like, it looks like and Gamma should not look low effort, and it looks low effort right now. But it's a very good tool, but they've not, last I checked, and let me go look at it now because I don't want to be disparaging Gamma, but it is a good, for now, it's a good tool.
Well, and that is a...
I like to have Agent use Gamma for me. I don't like to...
You don't like to touch it yourself?
Sully my hands.
Well, and that is part of the reason that I think we're experiencing so much anxiety is that the people do want to know whether or not something is high effort or low effort, and the markers that used to work so well 5 years ago do not work today.
Well, let me also just identify something that Jim was saying in the chat here, because I do think that there is a problem that is happening right now in the idea of the AI hype, where you have people that are just hearing, especially on a business level, like AI, it's magic. If you don't harness the magic, the evil magic will kill you.
Yeah.
And you need to go do X, Y, and Z. And there's a lot of tools that are either not ready or ill-conceived that are being deployed or being especially forced onto people in various different jobs that stink. Like that is an awkward adolescence here, because they're, for the first time in, coming up on 20 years, I would say that the app revolution was the last time we saw anything where people felt like, oh, mobile,
Yeah.
mobile matters.
Something, do anything.
Everything like if you can pivot to mobile. And now it's probably even bigger than that. It's probably a bigger thing than the app revolution. So it's closer to something like the internet. But it's like you have a lot of people that are like, oh, I was alive for the last time the train left the station.
Yeah.
And I remember how destitute everybody who missed the train were. Like, go, do a thing. And they don't know what the tools are. They don't know what the efficiencies can be. And so they're foisting on some of their
also,
staff bad solutions.
Progress is hallucinatory sometimes, right? I mean, imagine if mobile app said, yes, you are now a millionaire. Am I? No, you're not. You caught me, boss. Now you're a millionaire. Am I? No, you're not. that is a complicating factor.
Part-time liar. Part-time liar. So yeah, I have Jim. It sounds like there are many such cases that I have heard of friends or family that all of a sudden you got people. The directive from the top is use this thing or do this thing, and it oftentimes even uglier can happen in the capacity of like, hey, I just want to see whether or not this works so I can fire you. I don't think that that's the future of business. I don't think that that's the future of creation. I think the future of creation is that you are able to use tools that really do level up your capacity. And so the idea from your boss is, oh, I can do more. I want to hire more people so I can use these tools so I can continue to do more, greater, better. And yeah, we're in an awkward phase when it comes to some of that stuff.
Yeah.
I think that if tools evolve, we'll see where they're going to go. Like I'm playing Gamma right now. It's actually generating a site and doing a very good job, by the way. I think if they continue to evolve, but like I'll give you an example for great tool, Opus Clip, right?
Yeah.
Opus Clip said, hey, we're going to take one thing, which is a pain in the ass, creating all these social media carve outs, whatever. Other apps do it, like Riverside does, Descript does it, but sometimes it's a secondary feature and not a primary. And I felt that Opus does a really good job of
Great
that.
job.
It does, especially for converting ephemera like we're doing right now into distilled nuggets. And I look forward to the point where it does a good job with like multi-camera long form videos, you know, your 4 to 10 minute length or what have you. But for right now, I don't mind because there is just like from another room, even if you can't understand the words, you can recognize the pacing of a Sora generated video. At a glance, you can recognize.
Do you mean? How do you think that you can use a Sora generation just by the volume?
Exactly. But likewise, you can recognize an Opus clip, and I think that's fine if it's got kind of podcast or radio show ephemera. This is, hey man, we're just giving you the good part. We're doing you a favor, as opposed to like when we take a finely bespoke, handcrafted loop from a bit of content. Those clearly have a different vibe to them.
You want to know what I would pay money for with Opus Clip? Like I have a relationship with the Pat McAfee television show, not because I watch the Pat McAfee television show unless it's on over Brian's shoulder at Backspin.
That's right.
But because his Twitter account does a really good job of just pretty much once every 15 minutes posting a clip as live from the still ongoing show.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah.
And so that's a person's job.
Yeah.
And so they're a sports talk driven thing. Very clearly, there's a difference between the topics that they're talking about. So first they're talking about the NBA scandal, and then they're talking about the game tonight, and then they're talking about Sunday football, and then they're talking about college football. Like, so it's easier for them to pick out, hey, here's our little bit about each one thing. But boy, would I love if, like, for Great Night, when we're talking, or right now on Weird Things, if the Weird Things Twitter account,
imagine
headless,
if it was just top 3 1-minute segments that have already happened, or maybe they took 3 minutes in real time over the last hour, but they could be condensed to a tight 45 seconds. Imagine if those were already out and easy to digest.
as
where
we were
somebody came
going
in.
to build attention and hype for the fact that there's a live thing that's happening right now. Because the problem with any kind of social media clip, and the reason why there exists parallel audiences for this, like there are people that I will enjoy a clip on TikTok whose podcast I will probably never listen to
That's right.
at all whatsoever. Like these are different audiences, and it's because the gap between funny, I like that, even repeated, like, wow, these are great clips.
Same bit.
I really enjoy the Bad Friends podcast. Will I download it? No.
Nope.
I got a system.
Well, and there are, I don't know, dozens, hundreds of Modern Rogue fans out there.
Yep.
Who they would call themselves fans. They would get up and introduce themselves if they happen to see me in line at Golden Corral or what have you.
Handfuls.
At handfuls. But they have never seen a single bit of content when they were not pooping. And I think that's fine. I think that's a type of relationship that you have with a property. Or maybe it's not fine.
No, I think that once we understand that we see it, like I saw like a graph showing like, here's all the AI, all the slop since GPT-3 came out. And I'm like, cool. Because everything on the internet before then was great.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, okay. And I was like, no, like it was just this silly, like, oh, this is where AI content came into it, but it was already an existing problem. We already knew that blogs were dead probably by 2010, in part because people just realized I could pay somebody in a developing world to just write and repurpose and we already had humans repurposing and rewriting stuff inaccurately. And all AI did was actually introduce the possibility it could actually be good content now. The cost of good went up. I mean, cost of good dropped. Like the cost of good was going up. It was harder to pay for good content. Now it gets cheaper every year to get good content. I use deep research all the time. Like I would love to have a feed of, Brian, of your deep research reports, Justin, your deep research reports, my stuff, because I would love to see the stuff you guys are having AIs to say, because questions are really valuable. And if somebody says, hey, I've been asking some really interesting questions on memory methods and techniques and stuff, and I'm like, oh, I don't know that anybody's asked this and had really great research responses, and that seems like has value. But I think that part of the thing that comes into play is that, one of my favorite people I like to watch and listen to is Anthony Metivier. He's an expert on memory methods, whatnot. Check out the magnetic memory method on YouTube. He's got a podcast channel. He is a great historian and teacher of memory methods, and his value is he talks to people doing this stuff and who actually have experiences with this stuff, and that's super valuable. An AI can only tell you a thing that it learned, and it can only learn from what somebody's published or what somebody's explicitly told it. And I think that's the value we're really trying to see is highly networked people who go out there and find stuff, or, maybe find a manuscript that never got digitized. And he has interviews with people who are taking, Giordano Bruno's manuscripts and translating this. There was other examples of things like that I think have high value. That role of the AI comes into like, help me figure out how to distribute this. Help me figure out how to reach an audience with this. I'm going to continue asking questions and finding things out that the AI is unable to do, but I want the AI to act as my editor, as my publisher, as my publicist, and all of that.
I mean, I would love that too, but I don't believe AI is there yet for that. Anything that requires somebody accepting responsibility for pressing the button publish, I would worry that stuff went out in my name that didn't go past a quality check of another human.
No, I agree. But I'm saying is that the way we use it now to generate images and transcripts for us. My point to say it is my publisher isn't publishing without me saying yes, publish the book. Saying my publisher's a platform that facilitates all of this, but I have a bunch of humans that I have to go through to do that.
Yeah.
And you think about having the opportunity to where like, once you send done, then it comes back and say, okay, I did all that work. Now it's the final form. Boss, do I release it? That's where I want to get people to.
By the way, the closest.
My point to say is like.
Sorry, go ahead. Finish your thought.
That?
Finish your thought.
Yeah,
Sorry.
saying like Justin's example of like while we do a live stream, would be cool to have an AI. And like publishing literally is grab 15-second clips as we're here and put it out on the web to tell people to listen to the show. Like, I think you'd be comfortable with that.
Yeah, although I would
also
feel
the closest Dave's Hot Chicken is in Georgetown. Please continue.
Oh, that's too far. That's
way too far.
Broken app.
I know.
Shipped that
Broken.
The 1 out of 5
Glitch.
stars. That is a situation where I would feel better with a human taking responsibility for what gets published on the show feed, because let's say it's just garbage. Let's say it gets cut in such a way that mistakenly it makes the exact opposite point of what we're doing. Then it goes out, and then let's say while we're up here having a merry time and talking, a reaction of something has happened, and then when it comes back, we wouldn't be able to say, oh, well, it was the AI press publish, and it shouldn't have done that. That's where we get back to, I think about a human has to be the one to accept responsibility for that kind of thing. Or at least it wouldn't be bad.
Again, if it's an intern, I think the AI is going to be better than your staff at a certain point.
I do agree, but there'll still be a human who needs to get. You can't fire an AI, right? You could decide to. You can have consequences. AI cannot suffer consequences.
Hire a new company. I think that my thinking is, all I'm trying to get at, the point I'm just trying to make is that I think that we're going to spend a lot more time doing a lot of the really creative and imaginative stuff, and we're going to keep. And there's a lot of blockers. There's a lot of ideas in your head, Brian. There aren't enough people to go make them happen.
Right.
Yeah. And that is the
I'm
accelerator part. In the chat, somebody said that there's a bunch of videos of Alan Watts out that say things that Alan Watts wouldn't say. I saw a video of Tupac at courtside for a Kobe Bryant game, literally before we came and started this show. So it's like
you don't think he would be a Kobe Bryant fan?
I don't believe that was a that was something. I mean, I made one of Tupac and Eazy-E encouraging California residents to vote against Prop 50. So I don't think that either of those were alive to say that they would have an opinion one way or another on a California proposition. There is a new era of not being able to trust things that you see online. I would make the argument that it is a healthier world. Go ahead.
I'll give you a nightmare scenario. Imagine tomorrow a company released an app where you could record your likeness and your voice, and anybody could prompt it and have you say or do just about anything.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
This sounds
you
familiar.
don't get into control that. You don't get it. You can opt out. Would you opt out of letting, or would you insist that you approve every single thing that somebody does with your likeness and stuff? Because you said
I mean that goes out basically in that case, the human is I would be the direct object of somebody else's sentence. It wouldn't be my sentence under my name.
I could see you say stuff in there.
Well,
so my question for you, Brian, is: did you opt in to let anybody use you in Sora as a cameo?
Yeah, of course. Why would I?
Why?
You know what?
Because that's hilarious.
Yeah,
because you don't get to fire them, Brian. You don't get to fire them.
Well, no, but again, they're not putting things out in my name. I am not accepting.
I saw you say it, Brian.
You danced. You got fat and danced with me.
That's true.
Don't act like you didn't get fat and dance with me at the Super Bowl.
Two men on stage dancing together, Brian.
Yeah, I guess I'm not understanding. I think we're probably talking of cross purposes on this one because it sounds like
I think you were putting this constraint. Oh, I wouldn't let it pull clips from my show because if it got something wrong, and I'm like, well, if we like but you're fine with. I'll let somebody AI generate me doing something because people will know that's AI.
Well, no. Okay. Oh man. We would be busy doing the show, and we basically would just start. There would be nobody at the switch to say, "Oh, that's not what they meant," or "That's." Well, I don't know. What is the question exactly?
I'm trying to understand where your concern is about the guardrail. Why you're okay with one situation of like you feel if there's this reputational risk if you let an AI generate 10, 15-second clips as you do the show, but you're not worried about using Sora.
No, it's because Coca-Cola doesn't care whether or not you drop Mentos in Diet Coke and do crazy things. Coca-Cola is the direct object. It's the of the subject and verb in that sentence. However, when anybody walks up to a Coca-Cola machine, puts $1 in, $2, $2.50, and hits the Coke button, if something other than Coke comes out, I would imagine that I'd be pretty upset if I were Coca-Cola. And so likewise, if a robot, a system, and no human could be held to account for what was going out under the label Weird Things Podcast, and something that was the opposite of what we meant to go happen, I would be looking for whose head to cut off. And if I was the one that said, AI, you got this, then there's only one person responsible, and that's me. And I would rather, that seems like, I don't know. That seems like
I think right now where you are is a gap that we have in trust, in the machine, in the solution, right? So look at it like this. We've had this conversation about how much we trust an AI man in the middle or an AI solution in the middle for things like web browsing or email or something like that, right? And you have been like not for me, not right now. Like I need full control over everything that we have. Yet we do trust the spam filter. Like we periodically, I don't know if you check your spam filter every day, but like you have some kind of autonomous control over the email that comes in every day. And sometimes there is something valuable that gets caught in the filter that probably shouldn't. Now in Gmail, we have 3 different buckets where everything goes in, social and stuff like that. So we do have some kind of intelligent system that is supposed to on the fly sort things hither and yon. We trust that on some level because the failure rate is so vanishingly small that when you see something that gets stuck in the filter, like you're frustrated, but you don't think that you should totally undo the filter.
The failure rate I think is not vanishingly small. I find stuff all the time, but that's just the cost of doing business on there. I'm not sure where we disagree.
I guess
at
here's
all.
my point. I don't think we are disagreeing. I think we're just having a conversation.
I think
it comes. Yeah, Brian. It just comes. It's just literally. You've articulated where the trust thing, and that's fine. It's not a. Oh, you're wrong. I'm right. It's you saying, hey. You put a different value, and rightfully so, on reputation for this thing. Then you say, I need it to be here. I still need a human there, whatever. That's
right.
It. Like,
right.
I'm not going to let an AI put out a book with my name on it.
Right. I think the failure rate
campaign.
is currently unacceptably high, and the social cost of the wrong message going out is too
extraordinarily high.
Yeah.
So it's the question is the trust on the tool.
And I do agree with Andrew's point that it'll get there. It'll get there to where eventually it'll be superior to anybody I could hire.
I would think right now, I mean, I don't know. Part of me thinks I would want to look to kind of build a solution for like any of our live stream things to just have, even if we started another Twitter account, to have it auto post and just be like, hey, beta test, like,
right.
Here's
in that
just
case,
clips that go out. It is intelligent to know that like once every 15 minutes, it looks at the last 15 minutes and automatically pulls what it assumes is the most interesting thing. Or when we change topics, it just puts out something on that topic as soon as we change from that topic. And it just goes out into the social feeds as like, hey, this is just a window into a thing that is happening right now with a link at the bottom.
As a consumer, and the thing I imagine was just grabbing clips, not rewriting, not summarizing, but like as a consumer, and again, like if you brand it like our AI editor found this thing, I would be forgiving. I'd be very forgiving of that. I think that we've seen like Apple did a bad implementation of summarization because it looked like they used very dumb models to try to use cheap. Problem Google had too when Google was doing their summaries initially. They were trying to use the cheapest model they could, which was hallucinating. It was telling you to put glue on pizza and stuff, and that was a huge for a knowledge search engine. That was a huge reputational cost for Apple that we spent $1,000 a year on this device, and it does that. But I would say that I'd say like I would be okay as a consumer, Brian, to be getting clips of you and stuff in my feed, knowing periodically it's not going to be full context, but man, I would benefit more from having that.
Well, I mean, put it in a different framework. Like, in theory, if more is more, then in theory, releasing all of the Night Attack recording sessions would be superior to releasing the album. There's a quality threshold. Certain things make it into the album, certain things do not. And the question is, where are we at in terms of who we trust to be the quality distinguisher? And both of you guys in your examples postulated a different thing. That's starting a new brand. That's a new reputation. So I just don't think I think that that we're not there yet. I wouldn't risk my brand on it just yet with nobody at the wheel.
Fair.
Yeah.
Fair. Luddite.
We got any picks?
I mean, I got a pick.
I think Brian. I think it's a very great point. No, I agree with your point. I think that and again, it's like there's a point where like I can YOLO a bunch of jokes on Twitter. There's nothing where I don't want my doctor YOLOing my cancer diagnosis.
Yeah.
And it's also you like, hey, I cover news. I tell people going on in the world. And the moment something goes out there that says it's me, that looks like it's officially my channel, that looks derpy, it's like, okay, great. Now I look low effort, and now my fans are not going to be happy.
So I'll put it this way. Like right now, for whatever reason, in ChatGPT, the calendar connector is rock solid. It is reliable. It will pull stuff from my calendar no matter what. I can ask it what's happening a year, a month, a day. Boom, boom, boom. It works perfectly. The Gmail connector, for whatever reason,
Not great.
very finicky. Sometimes it's like I'm like, hey, you have access to my Gmail. Go find this. And it's like, no, I don't. I'm like, the hell you don't. Let me disconnect it and reconnect it. Check now. No, I don't. Like that. There was a moment where I wanted to have it find an email today. That is a trust window. If it worked, I would have trust in that solution in a way that would build. And if it worked 2, 3, 4 times like it has with Calendar, I will begin to trust it more to the point where I would want to possibly automate it. Now it's like, no, it's bad. It's not. It's not there.
Well, and I think also you guys are probably correct in that the AI the technology is farther along than I'm probably presenting it at, but I think that you're missing. My concern is not the technology, although non-zero chance there'll be a hiccup or whatever. My concern is the audience who is currently very charged. I agree with you guys. Eventually, 9/11 jokes will be hilarious, but it's the day after 9/11, or maybe the towers are in the middle of getting hit. And I'm not full Gilbert Gottfried about this.
The metaphor on first reference. It's just.
Well, I mean, anyway, we're past it. We're all the way through. The only way out is through.
I totally hear you. Totally hear you. I got to run. I'm going to just throw my pick out there.
Yeah.
Tron Ares.
Really?
Yeah, he loved it.
That's great.
Dog it.
He thinks it's the best Tron.
I believe it. It's a low bar.
Yeah.
Tron is always a visual treat. Did it have a beginning, a middle, and an end? Literally any character arcs at all? That'd be great.
Yes, it did. It did. Things were accomplished. Goals. You knew what goals were. Things were happened. And again, I'm not telling everybody it's a work of art. I had fun. My wife was like, I don't want to see it. And 20 minutes into it, I'm like, it's weird, but good. It's like driven by the 9 Inch Nail score.
Oh, and I think I will enjoy it a lot on that.
I'm shocked
front.
you haven't seen it.
So many minutes to rub together.
I gotta run.
Bye.
All right, take care, Andrew.
Andrew Mayne.
All right, here I'm going to switch this to another shot of us, which I can do.
Yes, look at that.
There we go. Look at this.
Just me. Just your old pal.
There we go.
Justin Robert
Look at that.
Hey. Brian, what's your pick?
My pick is The Chair Company with Tim Robinson. You missed. You saw the second half of it. It looks like they're setting
What is
up
that? The second episode that we were watching?
No, that was the first episode.
It was the first episode.
Yeah, it begins with a kind of a self-contained classic Tim Robinson-esque moment. You know, two terriers won't let go of a situation and it escalates. And then we see him got a promotion. He's above his station, trying to project like he's confident, is not.
Mm-hmm.
And at some point, there's the inciting incident in which his chair breaks in front of everyone, and everyone laughs. And thus begins the entire series, at which point he begins to fixate on, must be this chair's company's fault. And we get to the part where he figures out, you know what, I should just let this go. And he decides to let it go. At which point, adventure calls, and somebody hits him in the head with a lead pipe and says, "Don't investigate the chair company." And I'm like, all right, I'm in. I'm all the way in. I don't know what it is. It's going to be great.
It seems like If I Think You Should Leave was a paranoia thriller.
Yes. It meets conspiracy theory with Mel Gibson.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'll eventually watch it and love every second of it. Very excited about it.
What about you?
I will say, when I was sick, I watched about half of the Netflix docuseries on the 90s Cowboys. The
Jerry Jones days?
The Jerry Jones.
Did you see what I did there? I said a sportsman.
You did say a sportsman.
I did, and it was the right
It
sportsman.
was the right sportsman. Yeah, it's especially if you're an NFL fan, it's great 90s nostalgia. And any documentary is only as good as the subjects want to be objectively truthful. And there are plenty of characters in that documentary that don't mind showing their ass and don't mind kind of baring their teeth to their enemies. One of the big rivalries that exists in that time is, the Cowboys win 2 championships with their head coach. Their head coach had been longtime friends with Jerry Jones. Jerry Jones took him out of college to coach the Cowboys. He had built this team. This team was a cultural phenomenon. And then the coach and the owner get in a fight, and he gets fired. And Jerry Jones is great throughout the entire thing. But he has this moment where he's like, well, a couple years ago, I had a heart problem, and I went to the doctor, and the doctor said that you just need to reduce the stress in your life. And so what they had me do is write down the 5 people that just get my blood going the most, just the most that I could have. And number 1 on that list was Jimmy Johnson, who's the coach. And he's like, so I sat in a room, I thought about it, and I did all the things that they told me to, and I took my deep breaths and everything, and I went back to the doctor. He says, your blood pressure hasn't changed. And he goes, yep, I couldn't get past number 1. But it's great. It's all the elements of like big talking, fame, excess, drugs, sex.
This is what kind of program?
It is I think an 8-episode docuseries on Netflix about the 90s Cowboys, done by Skydance, the company that
is buying everything.
Now bought Paramount.
And
may
making
well
bids
buy-
for Warner.
Stories in the New York Post last night that the government is like, yeah, they should buy Warner Brothers Discovery. If anybody else buys Warner Brothers Discovery, boy, good luck.
Wait, why?
Because the White House wants.
Oh, geez, I
Skydance.
forgot
Yeah.
which administration we were in. Whoops.
Yeah, I think in parsing through it, I think somebody might have gotten a little over their skis. There are other issues with other people buying Warner Brothers, and that the other likely suitors would have regulatory hurdles no matter what.
Yeah.
Just because of saturation of market. But yeah, no. Anyway, so if you want a sense of like the kind of stuff that Skydance does, then it's also good just to watch that. It's very high quality stuff.
Right on. Well, I guess since we're down 1 Andrew Mayne, I get to be the one to say,
It's been weird.
oh, dang it. Well done. Well done.
Say goodnight, Gracie. Good
All
night,
right, beautiful
Gracie.
people. Hey, CJ says I fell asleep. YouTube autoplay brought me here. Welcome.
Let's go.
It's good to see you.
Very glad to wake you up.
Dun, dun,
Good
dun, dun.
morning. Good morning. Good morning, CJ.
Shouts out to Dylan Theus for doing good modding. Feel free to do that.
Yeah,
That's good.
straight mod it.
Straight modding. All right, I'm going to shut down the stream. We're going to post all this stuff.
Bye-bye.
We'll see you guys. Bye.